Sage and is fighting the fight. He has fought cities. He has fought counties, politicians, naysayers. Hell, he's even fought mayors.
Thank you for listening to Sage and the Houseless Movement, a weekly show dedicated to the news and views of the homeless locally and worldwide.
And all other things considered homeless?
Yes. Broadcasting live from your Alexa device, the Radio Free Network app, iOS, WMBU.org, Many Voices United, and the RadioFreeNetwork.com. And now, from some wooded area in Akron, Ohio, here is Sage the Rage Lewis.
I'm probably the guy that's heard that intro more than anybody else. And so every week I'm like, catch a new thing. And everything, now I don't even know what, something like everything, homeless related, blah, blah, blah. The longer I think about homelessness, the longer I just believe that, the more I believe it's just the human condition. It's the human condition. I mean, what is a home? If you think it is 4 walls and a roof, you're not a particularly insightful human being. I don't mean to be rude, but that's not that's not what a home is. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I just was over here. I saw this guy. I don't know if it's a private message, but so I'm not going to say, but there's a friend of mine who has been homeless off and on, and I don't know if he's homeless right now or not, but I was reading it, and he says, reading on Facebook, and he says this. He says, and I'm not going to show it to you because I don't know if it's public or whatever. He says, I don't really need things, but right now I'm in desperate need of a friend. For the first time in a long time, life doesn't make sense and everything is no longer holding mass. Like I literally am watching all my hard work drift down the street. So, have you ever felt that way? Not maybe the drifting down the street thing. Probably somebody was stealing his crap. He's probably homeless and somebody's probably taking all of his junk. But the whole thing of like, I don't really need things, but right now I'm in desperate need of a friend. Doesn't that get you? Doug just said it. Some of the homeless I met were just sick of the rat race and opted out. I think we have to realize that we were sold a bill of goods on the American dream, which, let's see. Let's see if I can Google. What is the American dream? Maybe Google, no. It says, the ideal by which equality of opportunity is available to any American, allowing the highest aspirations and goals to be achieved. A workaholic lawyer who seems to be living the American dream. There it is. A workaholic lawyer who seems to be living a dream. And isn't that it? That we look outside of ourselves at people who are living the American dream, and you look at them and you're like, oh, they're living the American dream. Are they? Are they living the American dream? Because in this statement here, a workaholic lawyer who seems to be living the American dream. That's the sentence they used in that dictionary definition. I'd love to talk to that workaholic lawyer and ask him if they're living the American dream. I'd love it. Because workaholic has almost positive connotations in this country. I'm a workaholic. I'm a workaholic. They say it like they're, it's one of those sayings that you kind of like are putting yourself down, but really you're basically saying, well, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. And when you meet somebody that loves to tell you how much they work, and I'll tell you, I got somebody like that. I have this person who emailed me on Thanksgiving. The only time she emails me, and it's a work thing, is on the weekends and at night and on holidays. And I'm telling you, it's so she can seem like she's such a hard worker. And it makes me mad because why does it make me mad? Because she's flaunting it. She thinks it's cool. She thinks it's cool to work all the time. And I think it's disgusting. And it's arrogant, and it's rude, because then if you don't email her back, which I never do, in fact, to the point which, like, Google Gmail now has a scheduling thing, even if I write her back on a night or a weekend just so I can get it out of my inbox, I schedule it for Monday morning. Because I do not value that. I think your life is sad. If all you have in your life are your titles and your job, and that's what you want to throw out into the universe of how amazing you are, I think your life is sad. I'm sorry. If that's all you got, and you're not a billionaire, now Elon Musk, look, Elon Musk writes you on Thanksgiving, that fucker's working. Of course he's working. That's fine. He's Elon Musk. But these mediocre people who are grinding these bullshit jobs and are proud of working 7 days a week and writing emails at 10 o'clock at night, I just am judging you right back. Because look, anybody can do that. Anybody can sit down at their computer and ignore their family, ignore their friends, ignore their personal well-being, so they can feel like they can just get a little bit more done at night on the weekends, and then share that as some sort of badge of honor with the rest of the world. I think you're sad. If you think that's what makes you an amazing human, you are lost, my friend. You have bought into the bullshit rat race. A workaholic lawyer who seems to be living the American dream. Doug says, working is noble if you find your work meaningful, but we also meant to feel guilty about relax. Yes, that's it. So that's it. We are meant to feel guilty about relaxing. You hit it on the head, Doug. If you aren't checking your email, if you're a corporate whatever, and you aren't checking your email at night and on the weekends, you are being judged. And if you've experienced that life, of which I have, you know that it sucks. Because you're going to have a boss or a client that writes you, they're paying you a shit ton of money, and they're going to write you on the weekends and at night just to see if you'll write back. And if you don't write back, you're on the chopping block. They'll find somebody else who will write back. And then, what have you become? What have you become? You've become a whore and a slave. Is that what you're proud of? Being a whore and a slave? To somebody else's agenda? Somebody else's time frame? Somebody that's richer than you? More powerful than you? You proud of that? Good. I'm glad. Glad you find your slavery so meaningful. Look, I get to say a lot of shit online because I have worked really hard to escape that bullshit. Really hard. And I run into people. Well, I'm doing it right now. I got this lady writing me on fucking Thanksgiving who is technically a person that's high up in this organization in which I work for. And if she finds, all she has to do is send an email to the big boss and be like, that Sage isn't very responsive. I write him, and then, it could be a couple days before he writes me back. Yeah, lady, you wrote me on Friday night at 8 o'clock. You're getting an 8 a.m. Monday morning email. So sit down and shut up. And then, you see what I've done? I have put myself at risk. I could lose that job. To which I say, good riddance. I don't need that fucking bullshit. And that is privilege. You want to know what white privilege looks like? You're looking at it. This is it. I'm sorry. This is the American dream, where I can go tell you to go fuck yourself because I'm not working on your bullshit time frame. I work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. That's it. And if I check my email or do work on the weekend, it's because I want to, and it's not because I'm writing back your stupid bullshit email. Sage, can you just do this quick thing? It's just like 7 o'clock on Thanksgiving night. No, fucker. I got to get up and go Black Friday shopping. I got to get my beauty rest. I need to be perky and alive and happy in the morning. I ain't got time to be uploading your bullshit. So, isn't that what you want? I mean, maybe not me, maybe not this. You're like, well, that seems cool. I don't want to be all yelly and annoying like him. But would you like to be able to call the shots and be able to just tell somebody to go fuck themselves? Now, I'm not going to tell her to go fuck herself, because then I would lose the contract, but I am going to ignore her. Which is a humble way to go tell you to go fuck yourself. I don't even like how it makes me feel. Not only am I not going to do it, I'm resentful of how it made me feel. How dare you get into my feelings, my feeling good turkey time, by asking me to do just something quick on Thanksgiving night. You have angered me. You've angered the sage. But I'll tell you the secret. I didn't even look at my email on Thanksgiving because you can really go fuck yourself. If it's a real emergency and you're a real client, you have my text. You're going to text me. I make fun of it all the time. A marketing emergency. Is there really such a thing? If you're not running a Super Bowl ad and it didn't play, you don't have a marketing emergency. You just sit down. Everything's going to be fine. What I'm getting at is if you are a wage slave, okay? If you are a wage slave, meaning you show up certain number of hours every week on the dot and get paid a wage for every hour you sit in that chair or whatever you do, you are a wage slave. Okay? Not trying to diss you. Just trying to tell you what you are. You are a slave. You are a whore. Because you do not have a choice of whether or not you show up at that time. And what I'm telling you is you are trapped. You're a brick in the wall, my friend. Okay? And the reason I talk about this is I come back to what Doug said. Some of the homeless, I like to say homeless people. Please say homeless people. I don't like to be like saying some of the gays, some of the blacks. Just add people to it, please. Some of the homeless people I've met were just sick of the rat race and opted out. They're tired of being a slave. Now, doesn't mean they don't like working. They might very much like the kind of work they want to do, but they want to do it on their own time. They want to do it when they do it and how they do it. They don't want somebody making them punch a clock and putting in hours like a jail cell. Understand? How can you not understand a person that drops out of the matrix? How can you not understand that? But yet, the general mass feeling of homeless people is you either feel pity for them. Oh, that poor homeless person doesn't have a slave whore job like me. So sad. Or you resent them. That lazy, no good, homeless drug addict should get a job. Be a whore slave like me. What I'm here to tell you is, you guys are the suckers. Ow! I do this every time. I take off my sweater. It's winter. I get all this static and it goes into my ears. Just shocked my ears. Ow. Ow, it's painful. All right, let me see if I can find this. I was over on TikTok. You got to go to TikTok. And I was saving stuff. I don't know how to find my saved. Okay, it doesn't matter. Look, I'm going to go to YouTube. I can watch. I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to type in van life. Watch this. Van life. Van life. Okay. Let's just take, here, van life, beginning a new journey. Here we go. It's also drone life, too. Gabby and Brian. 6 million views!
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
Oh, wait, is this the girl that died? Okay, wait, not a great example of van life if you get killed. No, all right, hold on. Is that girl? Anyways, let me find you somebody else. Let's do this girl. She doesn't look dead.
It is entirely too hot in Arizona, okay? I said it. It's November. We're more than 2 weeks into November, and I am sweating. And I'm, as you can see, not wearing a lot of clothes. In fact...
Okay, it's November in Arizona. This chick lives in her van, and it's hot. Jane! What's up, Jane?
This is the least amount of clothes I can legally get away with. Spaghetti straps. This is a romper.
Okay, we don't need to. Yeah, I get it.
See?
Yes, I do
it's
see.
hot. Like, I just came from Planet Fitness.
Yes.
And I took a shower. And
A lot of times, people in the van life get a Planet Fitness membership. It's $10 a month. You can use their shower.
now I'm sweating again. Yeah, outdoor activities right now are still a no-go. And usually November, I feel like would be a good time to like get outdoors in the desert. That seems on par.
Yes.
No.
No.
Not right now.
Not
I will
right
die if I go hiking right now. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do what I'm doing right now, which is parked in the shade somewhere and just chill until it gets a little cooler. I don't know. OG van lifers who spend the winter months in the desert, I know there's tons of you. What do you guys do?
There it is. So this woman is in Arizona in November, and she's like, look, I came to Arizona because I heard it was the place to be in the winter. It's still friggin' hot.
It's too hot. It's too hot to be in the van. I don't have a fan. I don't have anything except for this bed. And the thing about this bed is I have a Sherpa giant comforter, which is super warm because at night it gets freezing.
See, that's the thing. It gets super cold in the desert. That's the problem with the desert, lady.
So during the day I'm melting. During the night I'm like
freezing.
This blanket almost doesn't even do enough. I don't know. This is an interesting time to start van life for sure.
So she's new. She hurried off to Starbucks. She went and chilled at Starbucks. They spelled her name right. Isn't that great? Okay, look. This is a thing. This is a way people are living. Okay, let's find somebody here. This guy's doing it in New York City, living rent-free in New York City. Disney.
Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel here in Brooklyn, New York. I met up with Rob and his gang of van lifers here.
Look at all those people. All those people living in vans in New York City for free.
He's going to give us a little bit of insight on alternative living.
Alternative living, people.
New York City. Hello, Rob. Welcome to New Jersey Outdoor Adventures.
I like their hats.
Hey, thanks for coming by. This is
Jane says there's a good one about a woman who lives in her car. Right on.
As we've dubbed it, Van Alley.
Van Alley.
It's a bunch of like-minded individuals kind of coming and going. These are, everybody is here right now, but Van Alley is just kind of a dead-end street on Williamsburg that I started living at in 2019. And I wasn't really ready for van life. I bought the van wanting to work on it and have an apartment. My lease didn't really work out that way, so I wound up just kind of living here, and I ran into some other people, and we've just been, you know, coming and going, and I've been converting ever since. So this is Drew, Liz,
and Cole.
Cole, welcome. So maybe show you around their vans a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
So this is
all right, look. These people found an alley in New York. That guy's been living like this since 2019. Let's see what Jane's is. Let's go find Jane's. This is living in a car for $800 a month.
Hi everyone, I am still at the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. We're going to shoot another video. We're going to meet Dee, who lives in her car, and we're going to find out how and why. And
now she lives in her car. She doesn't even have a van. She lives in her car.
And just see what we can learn and share with others to help them in their journey into being a
being a nomad, I bet he's going to say.
Nomad and living their best possible life.
Okay. I'm so glad he said that, because here's the thing. When we had our tent village that Terry Heckman destroyed, she retired from the battered women's shelter. Did an amazing write-up of Terry Heckman. She's done a lot of great things, which I'm sure she did well, making a really great salary, but whatever. She destroyed, not single-handedly, she had a lot of friends, destroyed our village. And what they would say is, we want these people to lead their best life. Well, what a condescending bullshit statement that is. Why don't you tell me, Terry Heckman, how to lead my best life? Why don't you write out a little how-to statement on how to Sage should lead his best life and then make it a law that I have to live the way Terry Heckman says I have to live. Fuck. According to these people, apparently they're in some sort of psychosis, believing that this is the best way to live their life. Stupid people. Terry Heckman knows better than you.
So Dee, say hello.
Hello.
And why don't we just begin with the idea of how did you end up living in your car?
I was transient most of my childhood, and as an adult I lived the civilized life and everything. In the last 4 years ago I got a divorce. Tried living on my own. It was very hard. It was almost impossible. And
almost impossible, because if you ever tried to live in America, it's too damn expensive.
I finally got to the point where I couldn't pay the bills.
Couldn't pay the bills, ladies and gentlemen. You ever heard of that? Ever had a problem paying your bills in America? No? Well, then you're rich.
I ended up going back to my ex-husband for 5 months, a very volatile situation.
So, because she couldn't pay her bills, she went back to her ex-husband, who was probably an asshole.
And I can't continue living like that.
He's probably beating her, and he's probably drunk and some fucking asshole, and she went back because why? Because she needed to pay the bills and live like everybody else in a stupid house, because it matters most that you live in a house. It doesn't matter if you're getting beaten, psychologically abused by your husband.
So here I am. I've been watching Bob's videos on YouTube.
Okay, so here it is. So which is the better life? Her living in a house with an abuser, or her moving out on her own, watching Bob's videos or whatever the fuck she's talking about?
And it made me think I could do it.
You can do it, honey. Of course you can do it.
And so on the 1st of this month.
So by all standards, she became homeless. Oh, poor lady. We're so sad for you because you don't have the rat life that we all have.
I took off. At first I prepared my car. And
she just got a car. She got a car.
And I do have some income, not much.
Do you mind if I ask how much income you have?
I live on Social Security, a little over $800 a month.
Right.
So she gets $800 a month.
And I have some bills, but not a lot. And
she has completely minimized her life.
And that's nearly impossible to do in any traditional home.
That's what he's saying. She lives on Social Security, and he's going to say, look, you can't live anywhere in America on $800.
Yeah.
Apartment. I mean, that's your whole apartment.
Well, I couldn't buy food.
Right.
You couldn't buy food. There it is. You can get your $800. You can live in one of those houses that we're all supposed to dream of, American dream. But, you know, there's one downside. Can't eat. You can't eat.
I couldn't even buy food. I had to get free food.
You had to get the free food.
And it was hard. I couldn't pay.
Terry Heckman, well, you're leading your best life, lady. You're living indoors, which is what you got to do in America. See, you can't eat food doing it, but you're living your best life in that apartment.
I couldn't buy anything. Nothing. I couldn't go with a friend for a $5 McDonald's. Nothing.
Right.
Oh, aren't you so fancy wanting to go to McDonald's $5 with your friend? Maybe you should suck it up, lady. You don't need food and friends.
And I got tired of that, too.
You did.
It was not a good life.
No.
You're a loser, lady, a loser. You're a homeless drug addict loser. Look at you. You look terrible. You look like a loser. You should get in a house.
It was not.
And because you have been a person who traveled and was transient, this appealed to you.
I always loved camping. Out of my 5, there were 5 of us kids, but out of the 5, I think I loved the camping. I did it when I was raising my kids. Took them camping all the time. I love camping. So the lifestyle is wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, of course you love it. You're not a fucking rat in a cage, baby.
The freedom.
Yes.
I love the fresh air. I love the camaraderie. Camaraderie, I think you say it. Meeting people. Finding other people that are just like me.
Just like you.
You don't find that in the city.
No.
So
they're living the rat life in the city.
Everyone's afraid of each other in the city.
They're afraid of each other. You ever thought of that? Do you ever notice how you don't know your neighbors in the city?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so this
when you're camping, you know your neighbors. Oh, but you're not leading your best life, so says Terry Heckman from Battered Women's Shelter, who destroyed the community of homeless people in Akron, Ohio.
What was the car you had?
Right, it's a Pontiac 2005 Pontiac Grand Am. It's a 6-cylinder and 4-door, and I really did have to do some changing to make it work.
Let's see, how'd you do it?
So
And so far, so it's only been a month, about a month.
about a month.
And it's a little too early to know, but so far so good?
So far so good. I'm determined I can do it for a few years in this. I'd like to upgrade to a van and become a van camper, but in the meantime, this is the way I have to live, and I'm not unhappy about it.
No.
Good, because you're a nature girl camper anyway.
Right.
Okay, well, let's take, how do you let this car go past, and then a couple questions that I know everyone's going to ask when you live in a car. You support yourself with Social Security check?
Yeah.
And how do you go to the bathroom?
Oh, yeah, how do you go to the bathroom? That's a good one. Hold on. Oh, crap. Sorry, everybody.
Bills.
Life.
No, it was not. And camper, but in the meantime, this is the way I have to live, and I'm not unhappy about it.
Good, because you're a nature girl camper anyway.
Right.
Okay, well, let's take, how do you let this car go past, and then a couple questions that I know everyone's going to ask when you live in a car.
Yes.
You support yourself with Social Security check?
Yeah.
And how do you go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Well,
let's get into that.
It's hard in a car, so you have to really have to work it out. I have two things. I have a pee bucket, basically, which I do not line. And I do have a lid for it, and I've actually kind of covered it with a soft lining because women don't like to sit on these hard plastic things.
Right. Got a pee bucket.
And then I funnel it into a 1-gallon. Oops, sorry, Dolly.
Oh,
that's my dog, Dolly. I funnel it into a 1-gallon water jug.
Okay. There you go.
And then I dump it where it needs to be dumped.
Yeah.
For the other job, number 2, basically poop. I have another bucket that is the same size that I sit into that bucket, and I line it with a good plastic bag, and I do my business, and then I take the business and I twist it, and I fold it over again, and I twist it again, and I fold it over again. I do about 4 times. And then I put it into a Ziploc bag. So there's no smell.
Right.
And I don't have to think about it after that. I'm done.
Right.
And
that's exactly what I do.
It's quick and it's convenient, and then I dump it when I get to somewhere where I can. If it gets uncomfortably, like too much, then I'll go ahead and find a place to take it.
Right.
But it really hasn't been a problem at all. And the other thing I did when I set up my car for this is I made sure that I had a bench. A lot of your vans can use 5-gallon buckets. If I use a 5-gallon bucket, you're going to see my rear end in the window.
Right.
I have a 2-gallon bucket.
Right.
Which is perfect, and I put a board. I don't know if you want me to describe how I set this up, but
well, you took out. Looks like you took out your back seat.
I took out the passenger seat and the back seat, and I built a wooden frame. And I put a 5-inch memory foam mattress on there. I cut it down. I bought a twin size and I had to cut it all down. But it fits really nice, and it's the full length, and it only goes to the trunk. So I still have my whole trunk available. And then I built a wooden seat here, and I have a pillow up there that actually sits on this as a cushion.
So this is, so you lounge right here.
I can lounge there. I can sit my bucket on there. I can bathe. If I have to be in my car, I have a 1-burner butane stove that I can sit, because that bench is very stable. I can sit this stove on there, and I don't have a problem with the wind, and I can cook. And I don't know if you got the propane heater there.
I see you have a Mr. Buddy.
Yeah, and the only thing you have to do when you have a Mr. Buddy in a car is you have to make sure that you have about 3 inches of air ventilation. Now that Mr. Buddy will burn me out.
Right.
5 minutes is all it takes to heat up my car. And I use Reflectix on On my windows, I didn't really need the Velcro, but I'm using it. But if you're going to use Velcro, you need a stronger glue because the glue on back of Velcro is terrible.
Right.
So I just cut them to shape. One of the things that I did with my car, because it's going to be my living home, is that when I took my seats out, I took up the carpet and put reflectives under the carpet so that the floor is not pulling up a lot of cold.
Right. So you have reflecting center.
Right, underneath the rug.
Right.
And then one of the other things that I need to do, and I didn't do it, but I just put plastic between the bed and what have you in the trunk to keep out some of the cold from the trunk. I will eventually put a board there that can also convert into a table because I will make screw-on legs. The little basket over there in the corner, one of the hardest things to do is when you're going to the bathroom is to find the toilet paper in a car.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I keep my wipes and my toilet paper.
Do you see what's going on here? We need to realize, apparently, you know, dogs barking in your car would probably be a fun thing. Hey, whatever. So look, we have to be open to this idea that we can live alternative lifestyles. I see no other path in America because if you have basic Social Security, you're making $800, okay? Let me just go average rental cost in Akron, Ohio. Okay, let's see. Can you do it? Google, do it. $888. Average rental cost, Cleveland, Ohio. $1,172. Keep in mind, we are now over her Social Security. In Akron, Ohio, average rental cost, Kansas City, $1,100. Average rental cost, Detroit, $1,163. Average rental cost, Philadelphia, $1,700. Do you know how much poverty is in Philadelphia? Jane says, after Medicare, I get $440. Okay? We have to come to terms with the reality of the situation. This woman living in her car had two options. She moves back with her husband, who she didn't really want to. She was being polite. She didn't get into, but she said it was a volatile situation. I would not be surprised. The number one reason women become homeless is domestic abuse. Number one. Okay? So she either goes back with her husband and deals with that horrific situation, or she tries something else. And she's trying something else. Now, if she's living in a place that costs nothing to sleep, which is likely, we saw the guys in Manhattan, no rent. They're living on the side of the street in an alley, no rent. Now everything changes. Now you can go to McDonald's and you have $5 to spend visiting with your friends. Now you are not worried about food. And I don't know if you know this or not, but humans have to eat. Food isn't like one of these optional things. Now, what is optional is living in a $1,700 apartment in Philadelphia, which is the average rental cost. Okay? What is the poverty rate of Philadelphia? 23%. What is the poverty rate of Detroit? It says it's the number 2 most impoverished city, 30%. Okay? What constitutes living below the poverty line? In 2020, the poverty threshold for a single person under 65 was an annual income of $12,760. $12,760 divided by 12. It's $1,063. Okay, now, that's what poverty is in America. $1,063 for a one person, okay? So there you go. Jane says, Jack in the Box is $1.50 for a burger, and they give you a coupon for 2 free tacos at your next visit. You can go in and visit with your friend in Jack in the Box for $1.50, and you get the water. Burger King in my area still has $1. It's called a rodeo burger. So delicious. $1 rodeo burger. It's like a burger it's a cheeseburger with an onion ring and barbecue sauce on it. Delicious. $1. If you're living in your car and you have no rent, you then can eat. How do you live in America? That's what you lived on for a year. Jack in the Box. We don't have Jack in the Box. I wish we did. We also do not have In-N-Out burgers. Terrible around here. We suffer. We have to get real. How are you going to live in America when you have a Social Security check of $800, when the poverty line is $1,000, so you're $200 underneath the poverty line, which is 20% below the poverty line, and rent in Philadelphia is $1,700. 24% of people in Philadelphia, okay, can you do the math with me? 24% of people living in Philadelphia live below the poverty line, which is $1,000, and it costs $1,700 to live in Philadelphia. Do you see how it doesn't work? Do you see how 24%, or what did we have? We had 30% poverty in Detroit. What was the average rate over in Detroit? Average median rental price in Detroit, $1,163. Okay, the poverty line is $1,000. The average apartment is $1,163. That's $163 above the poverty line, which is all the money they made. You're in the hole at 163 if you're below the poverty line, and that is not what you make on Social Security. You make $800. It's like $850 or something like that. Okay? Do you understand what I'm getting at? It's not mathematically feasible for 30% of people who live in Detroit to live in Detroit. Do you get it? The only way it works in America is alternative life living situations. Okay? I saw a guy on TikTok. I wish I could figure out how to show what my favorites are on TikTok on my computer, but I can't figure it out. I don't know how to figure it out. I'm, by the way, TikTok famous. You should follow me on TikTok. I'm doing good on TikTok. I can't find my favorites on TikTok on the computer. But anyways, there's a guy living way up north in Canada. Way up north. It is currently negative 40 degrees. Well, maybe he said it's only negative 20. It's balmy. He lives in a shed that he heats with a propane stove. Okay? With a propane stove in a shed. He is a full-time worker. He wants to live in the shed. You know why? Because he doesn't want to spend $1,000 on rent. And Jane says, you plus utilities, and if you can't keep them on, you get evicted. Exactly. So then what happens is you get your utilities turned off, and then you get real quiet. Because if somebody finds out from the city that you have your utilities turned off, they're going to throw you out of the house. Because now it's unfit for human habitation. Can you imagine that now you are in risk of losing everything because your utilities got turned off? You will be thrown out of your house if you do not have utilities. I have seen it. I've experienced it with friends of mine. It is true. That is not a hyperbole. And like a lot of times, you don't get your utilities turned off until you owe thousands of dollars. And then they won't turn them on until you pay back the thousands of dollars. So how the hell are you going to get your utilities turned on? I got a guy right now. $2,000 water bill. It's done. It's done. You can't get that. You can't raise $2,000. It's done. First the water went off, then the electric went off. Okay? That's how it goes. And if the city finds out, which obviously the city knows that he doesn't have water because they run the water. And the fees. Right, Jane. You're going to have turn-on fees. Look, we have to accept the truth that is America, that we must have alternative living conditions. You cannot have an entire country where a significant percentage of people can't afford rent and food. Oh, well, Sage, they have subsidized housing. There's 20,000 people on our subsidized housing wait list. 20,000 people. 20,000 people are ahead of you on the subsidized housing list. Do you know if you default on your electric bill and you move to another apartment, all of that follows you? You don't get your electric turned on in a new apartment. Just because you move to a new apartment doesn't mean you get electric. So you can't move in because you can't get the electric turned on. Okay? Look, we have to be able to have tents. We have to be able to have car living, van living, tiny house living. We have to have it. We have to have it. Because otherwise, you end up what we have in America right now, which is people illegally living in their own country because they can't afford to live in a house. Do you understand? you have to understand that there are people, many people, who can't afford to live in a house in the United States of America. Jane says, for every 100 people, thank you, this is a great one. For every 100 people who qualify for vouchers, only 20 get them. How about this one, Jane? How much housing is available for extremely low-income people? So it says here, national, this is in Ohio. Wait, Ohio. No, I want to do national. Let's see. I don't think, okay, wait. It's something like there's, okay. Here it is. This is the National Low-Income Housing Coalition. This came out in 2018. Finds a shortage of 7.2 million affordable and available rental homes for extremely low-income households. Those with incomes below the poverty level are 30% of their median income. So, the study finds there are 35 affordable and available units for every 100 extremely low-income renter households nationwide. 35% have access to housing they can afford. It's basic math, people. We must have non-traditional housing options, especially in our cities. Especially in our cities. Otherwise, you are creating a humanitarian crime by forcing people out of living places in their own city. You cannot remove somebody's living, you can't steal their tent without giving them a solution of where else to go. But that's what we do. We are on the very beginning stages of this conversation because we have these these homeless experts that are saying housing first. Everybody needs a house. Okay? I want you to play that out for me. Okay? When do I qualify for the free house? Let's say I become homeless. Just for any reason. My wife kicks me out. I go into a wild depression. I start drinking again. And I just sit in a tent. I go move into a tent. The Housing First people will say, Sage needs a house. Very first thing. Say it's in the name, Housing First. Sage can't work on his addictions, his alcoholism, his mental health. He needs a house. And I'm like, sweet. Fuck yeah, I need a house. Right you are. Get me a house. This is unbelievable. I'm living in a tent. I need a house. And let's say it actually happens. I get a house the next day. All the utilities are paid for. All the rent's paid for. It's safe. Has no bugs. It's wonderful. Hey, heating, air conditioning. It's wonderful. Who qualifies for that? Do I qualify because I'm in some sort of steep decline of depression and alcoholism? I think so. I've often heard people say, you know, Sage, if I had a drug addiction, it'd be a lot easier for me. I'd have more services available to me. It doesn't make sense, housing first. Because if my wife leaves me and my family is like, Sage is the biggest loser, hell yeah, I'm going to just pick up where I left off with my drinking habit because I'm going to get a free house and I'm going to get free food, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm just going to drink myself into a slow suicidal death. It's going to be great because I ain't got no problems. Now, I'm not saying guys like me that are depressed and drinking themselves to death shouldn't have help, but I'm not saying I should get a house. Who's paying for that house? Who is paying for my house? Oh, well, Sage is different. Sage could be a contributing member of society. Nope, not anymore. I'm not. I tapped the fuck out of that. I'm done. I am not a contributing member. I am now depressed, and I'm an alcoholic. Being an alcoholic makes you depressed. It works out very well. They go hand in hand perfectly. I need a house and food, and I'd prefer it if you deliver it to me. I don't want to be walking around all day. I'm busy getting drunk. Do you realize how ridiculous you sound? Jane says, like a guy I know who got a place, got drunk, went out on his porch crying, and got evicted for disturbing the peace. There it is. They want landlords to be service providers. There it is, Jane. That's it. Thank you for saying that. Now that I got my place and I got all my food, I'm really leaning into my drinking. Really leaning into my drinking because that's all I really wanted to do anyways. And so you know what I start doing? I start yelling and swearing and going out on my porch, getting signs saying, fuck Dan Horgan and fuck you and fuck all you people. And then sooner or later, I'm going to get evicted. And then the next thing you know, I'm back in a tent. And now I call up the Housing First people again. And I'm like, hey, I've got evicted. I need a house. And then they're like, right away, Sage, you look worse than ever. Damn straight I'm worse than ever. I need a house worse than ever. And I get another house, and then I get evicted, and then I get a house, and I get evicted, and I get a house, and I get evicted. I haven't broken any laws. My First Amendment rights allow me to yell on a sidewalk to fuck Dan Horgan, because really, fuck Dan Horgan. I'll make t-shirts. Worst mayor in the history of Akron. What an idiot. See? Imagine me drunk. Could you imagine that? Ugh, what a nightmare. So I'm going to get evicted. But the Housing First people got my back. I'm going to go into a house. I'm just going to run around, getting evicted, getting a house, getting evicted, getting a house. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to be like, we have to have rights for people like Sage Lewis to not get evicted. And I'll be like, damn fucking straight you do. Damn fucking straight. I need my rights protected. And now fucking landlords got to put up with me. And I want to bring my friends. Last time I got evicted was because I brought my friends over. I need to be able to bring my friends over here. Can you imagine, Jane, the ridiculousness that is the Democratic Party? I'm one of them. But I do love to point out their insanity. They're not thinking this shit through. Housing first. No, a tent first. My thing is a tent first, meaningful work second. That's what I like. Find something that means something to you. So, okay. So now let's do, I got to wrap this up. Sage Lewis, drunk as fuck, come down here to Drunk as Fuck Tent Village. Sage, you can come down here. Just go in your tent, drink. You'll be fine. And if you yell too much, we're going to put you on the back 9. You can yell all you want back there. And then I'm going to find something. What do you like to do, Sage? I like to drink. Good. Do you like collecting beer cans? Yeah, I like collecting beer cans. Great. I need you to go around and collect the beer cans, raise money. All right. Fuck yeah, I'll go raise money. I can do that. That sounds good. And then maybe I see somebody making sculptures out of tin cans. I'm like, damn, that looks good. You just cut them out. You make little people out of tin cans and you fucking sell that shit? Yeah, they buy them because they feel sorry for your ass. No fucking way. All right, I'll be making tin can people. Selling them for $30 a pop. I'll be drinking more all day long. Next thing you know, I feel good about myself. Maybe I decide to go to AA. Look, we got to think this through. We need affordable and versatile living conditions, because we can't live in this country the way it is right now. People, I love you. I love you. I love you. I will see you next time.